Jasmin and Ben Steiner from Oregon say they have been living like roommates since the birth of their youngest daughter, Brooklyn.
I'm Jasmin Steiner.
I am Benjamin Steiner. This has been a hard period, I think, for everybody, but I think most importantly, it's been a very reflective period for myself and Jazz. We demand more of ourselves and of each other.
Sometimes we get lost in life and realize like, oh, we haven't truly seen each other for like weeks. Especially like, with kids, we get so tired that we're just like, no, just worry about that later. We're best friends. I love him to death. And sometimes we forget that in the midst of like chaos.
It's been this kind of dance to figure out how to find that time for each other. It doesn't get any easier. And it becomes more challenging and more demanding. How do we continue to keep pace and excel within that space?
Joining us from Oregon, please welcome Jasmin and Ben. Thank you so much. We love when the Tam fam are willing to open up and share their stories. Dr. Labeach is still with us. Let me start with you, Jasmin. When did you first realize that there was a divide, that something was off?
I started noticing that the things that fulfilled me before weren't necessarily like giving me the same fulfillment now, and that I was having a harder time connecting with him. And so it was kind of like, oh, like what's going on? Like, why are the things that used to, make me feel like my glass is full aren't doing it anymore? And so that's when we had to start. Well, I had to do like self-reflecting on like, what is it that I really am wanting from this relationship, and like how to express that and communicate that to him.
Ben, when you hear the words, it feels like you're living like roommates, especially since the birth of your youngest, Brooklyn. How does that make you feel? I mean, that you're living like roommates.
I think we are best friends. Getting into a relationship like this, you realize what is really important. But at the same time, whenever you have kids, they take a lot of your time, and trying to balance the kid side, work side, and the relationship side, it's a lot. And so, it is a little bit hard to hear, but there's definitely some truth to it.
I was looking at the pictures of your family. First of all, you're such a beautiful family. And then I see, the kids, and there's that version of your joy. And then seeing that picture, though, of the two of you alone on the beach, there's this other version of joy, and trying to reconcile that the two of you, one day, they'll be on with their own families and their own relationships. And, hopefully it'll still be the two of you. What made you decide to take this couples challenge, especially on national television?
I think one of the most important parts of our relationship is understanding that it is constantly evolving, and that there is more demanded of us and of each other. And so I think one of the most important things for us to come on this is, figuring out how we can connect more consciously, how we can continue to engage each other, and be there to support one another.
So you took on Dr. Labeach. She issued a challenge for Jasmin and Ben, a date night scavenger hunt to help them reconnect. Each item they searched for was meant to spark conversation about a good memory. Let's watch what happened.
Okay, clue number 1. I used these to start the car the night I met your parents, and we both told each other I love you. That's a hard one.
It was on our way back home from eating with them.
Oh, it was a Turkish restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a very special moment because exactly in the G, we both kind of knew where this was going. So.
Stop, I'm gonna cry.
All right. Clue number 2. Beaches, jet skis, ziplining through the jungle. Tequila.
Tequila.
What better way to woo a woman than take her to the Riviera Maya? And I guess it worked. And
7 years later.
That is a sweet idea. Dr. Labeach, how did they do, and what can other people take from that scavenger hunt challenge?
They did a great job. But what people can take from it was, look at the smiles on their faces. Look at the joy that came from just them looking at the clues going back to that moment and recognizing the memories that they have that make for the amazing relationship that brought their children into the world.
Yeah. So the key is holding on to some of those memories. I do like this scavenger hunt idea of finding little things, and we all have them. We've been on a date, you might keep a corkscrew, or a cork thing from the wine, or you might keep a napkin, something to commemorate that moment. Jasmin, how are you feeling now? Because I think a lot of women can relate to certainly your perspective, Ben, not that you're not here because we love you too. But Jasmin, I think the juggle of being the mom and also the wife and having to balance this. How are you feeling now?
It was actually really sweet because right before we did that challenge, we were kind of not really seeing eye to eye. We didn't truly connect in a couple weeks. And so doing that, it was so enriching because it really reminded us of the things that we were doing that we kind of fell off on, because we've been reading, we try to read a book together for self-development and do fun activities that we both enjoy. And sometimes it's we get lost in like I said, our routine. And it was nice having this we're doing this date night thing, and it was so much fun. And afterwards I was this is really nice. I'm so glad we got to connect. And I feel since then that we've been super, I don't know, giggly with each other.